Top stories in our news today. The opposition ADD has warned that using a private equity to amortize Zambia's $750 million Eurobond may be a conduit for corruption. And President Edgar Lungu has been called upon to caution Zambians in a diplomatic service to desist from commenting on the Barroso-Land Agreement of 1964. Now the news in detail. The Opposition Alliance for Democracy and Development, ADD, has warned that using a private equity to amortize Zambia's $750 million Eurobond may be a conduit for corruption. ADD President Charles Milopi says corruption cannot be very far with the accumulation of extra interest that will come as a result of Zambia selling this Eurobond to a private company. Mr. Milopi is worried that the country will end up paying more, as it is obvious that the Turkish company that is hinted to buy off the date may only want to make more money out of Zambia. In an interview via telephone, Mr. Milopi has told QTV News that in his view, the decision to refinance the $750 million Eurobond using a private equity is a terrible decision to have been made. Minister Milopi states that this decision has also confirmed that government misapplied the Eurobond money. He says his suspicions, therefore, are that the Zambian government borrowed this money for consumption and not to invest and create capacity to repay the Eurobond. The ADD leader has lamented that his worry, however, is that Zambia is now highly indebted as a result. He says Zambians should now take heed that issues of debt contraction must be by way of taking matters into Parliament for approval before the executive is allowed to contract any debt.
So they have mismanaged the economy, they have mismanaged the debt. Now Zambia is highly indebted. They are now accepting that they have no ability to repay. Confirmation of what we have always said. Zambians must take heed. When we say debt contraction must be by way of taking matters into Parliament to have them debated before the executive can be allowed to contract debt. These ones that went and did it on their own without parliamentary approval, now it is like a millstone around the Zambian neck, and everybody will now be expected to pay for it. That's why now they are mortgaging and selling off the country so that take it and do this. That is not right. I think we need better managers of this economy. So they have.
President Edgar Lungu has been called upon to caution Zambians in a diplomatic service to desist from commenting on the issue of the Barroso-Land Agreement of 1964. The Barroso National Freedom Alliance, BNFA, is concerned that a careless statement on the agreement by Zambia's ambassadors and high commissioners, if not handled well, can be a source of conflict. The BNFA is particularly unhappy by the recent statement attributed to Zambia's High Commissioner to South Africa, Emmanuel Mwamba, who is reported to have been featured on SABC TV. Alliance trustee William Harrington states that Mr. Mwamba's alleged remarks must be condemned in the strongest terms as they are injurious to the peace-loving people of Barroso-Land. Mr. Harrington notes that this is especially that President Edgar Lungu last year ordered for the publication of the Barroso-Land Agreement. He says that the BNFA further urges President Edgar Lungu to append his signature to the Permanent Court of Arbitration Agreement documents that were submitted to State House. Mr. Harrington says that this is in order that the impasse over the Barroso-Land Agreement can be conclusively dealt with by a neutral international body.
The remarks are erroneous, arrogant, highly misleading, provocative, and devoid of truth. Coming at a time when Barroso-Land is expectant of a peaceful resolution to the impasse in line with the Barroso National Council BNC resolutions of March 2012, where it was resolved that Barroso-Land would revert to its original pre-1964 Zambian independence position following government's refusal to restore the abrogated agreement. The Zambian government was well represented at the BNC and is therefore fully aware of this position. It must be mentioned also for the information of Emmanuel Mwamba that the United Nations People's and Human Rights Commission, UNPHRC, has declared and endorsed Barotseland's right to self-determination. If Mr. Mwamba is seeking to appease his appointing authority and justify his salary and perks that go with his office, he should instead divert his energies to advising President Lungu. I want to take this opportunity also, that President Lungu should be advised on the importance of appending his signature to the Permanent Court of Arbitration Agreement documents that were submitted to State House by the Barotse National Freedom Alliance well over a month ago now, so that the impasse over the Barotseland agreement can be conclusively dealt with by a neutral international body or tribunal. It will not help matters to behave like the proverbial ostrich that buries its head in the sand, believing that it will not get burnt by the approaching bushfire.
Government has finalized the procurement of consultant to review designs for the $150 million integrated small towns water supply and sanitation project. The rolling out of the $150 million integrated small towns water supply and sanitation project in 4 provinces is set to start soon. The districts are Mbala, Kasama, Mpika and Nakonde. Others are Samfya, Kawambwa, Mwense and Mansa, while the rest are Kaoma, Mangu, Senanga and Sesheke. This follows the Ministry of Water Development, Sanitation and Environmental Protection finalizing on the procurement of a consultant to review designs for the project. Ministry of Water Development, Sanitation and Environmental Protection Public Relations Officer Amos Zulu says that the integrated small towns water supply and sanitation project will be implemented in northern, Muchinga, Luapula and western provinces, targeting 12 districts. Mr. Zulu says that the project is aimed at improving the financial viability of commercial water utilities by increasing their customer base and increasing coverage of water and sanitation services to the people. He has told Q News in a statement that once completed, the program will improve the health of close to 930,000 people through access to safe drinking water and improved sanitation services in the selected districts. Mr. Zulu has added that part of the works will include the rehabilitation of construction of new reservoirs and water network facilities and construction of rehabilitation of sewer networks. He states that the ministry will also ensure that monitoring and evaluation of water and sanitation projects is prioritized, as it is a key component for measuring appropriations of funds and progress made by government on various projects. Still in our local news, Atlas Mara has distributed a total of 240,000 electronic e-voucher cards to farmers under the Farmers Input Support Program (FISP) for the 2017-2018 farming season across the country. Bank Head of Marketing and Corporate Communications Eric Ngondo says this is a demonstration of his bank's commitment to complementing government's efforts in supporting farmers. Mr. Ngondo says his bank wants to ensure that the e-voucher program is effectively implemented across the country. He says Atlas Mara thus remains an active partner of the Zambian government in the implementation of the FISP.
It's about inclusiveness again. It's about the FISP program. I'm sure you know it as the e-voucher program. One of the subsidiary banks, Bank ABC, has been a pioneer in the FISP program right from the beginning. We were actually the first bank who partnered with Zambia National Farmers Union and the Ministry of Agriculture to bring the FISP, which is now known as the e-voucher. Essentially how it works is that we have what we call a prepaid card technology. We have come up with a prepaid card. What happens is that as a farmer wants to contribute as part of their cooperative, they contribute a 400 kwacha. They go to any of our branches nationwide and deposit a 400 kwacha. The government then matches that with a subsidy amount, and those two are both loaded onto our prepaid cards. This prepaid card is then given to the farmer. The farmer will then now go to the agric suppliers and swipe that card. So in this year alone, for the 2017-2018 season, we actually did 240,000 cards across Zambia in all the 10 provinces, making us the biggest player in this space. We're basically handling 50% of all card transactions for the e-voucher program. We're very proud of our achievements because as we've seen, we've recorded a bumper harvest in the last 3 years. We believe the program has been a great success, and we look forward to doing more and really empowering these vulnerable farmers across Zambia.
Lusaka Water and Storage Company Managing Director says it needs about $2.4 billion to fully implement the Lusaka Water and Sanitation 2035 Master Plan. Director Jonathan Kampata says his company has so far only managed to raise $800 million. Engineer Kampata has told Q News that once the Water and Sanitation Master Plan is implemented, it will help bridge the gap of water and sanitation services in the Lusaka city. And company public relations manager Patson Piri has disclosed that the $150 million Kafue Bank project has reached 90% completion. Mr. Piri says that the project is expected to help increase the supply of water to Lusaka.
We've had a challenge for a number of years arising from the lack of adequate volumes of water reaching Lusaka. So what has happened is that in conjunction with the Zambian government, we have had to invest in Kafue Bank water supply project as a reaction to the challenges of water supply. So a project worth $150 million has now reached 90% in terms of construction. We are anticipating that by first quarter of next year, the remaining 10% would have been done. But what would delay, that launch is that we have to construct a new ZESCO power substation at Kafue itself, where this particular project is sitting, because a massive project that requires this dedicated substation. And so we are hoping that should the project come to an end in the first quarter of next year, if we are lucky, we may finish in January, but we are hoping January, February, and March. That's our timeline.
The Zambia Correctional Services recruitment process has attracted over 33,000 applications from candidates across the country. The Zambia Correctional Facility has had called for applications for prison warders and wardresses in May this year. Head of Public Relations Maggie Nawar says the Correctional Service is, however, only looking for 230 candidates. Ms. Nawar says those who have applied for the advertised positions should in this case be wary of unscrupulous people who might want to lure them into paying to being selected in the service. He states that the application and selection process into the correctional service is free and no one should agree to pay money in exchange for a place in the service.
Over 33,000 applications from members of the general public, and we are looking for 230. So you can see we have a lot of people that are looking for employment. But people should be patient, and we are still working on shortlisting. And once we are done, the members of the public will be informed on those who are shortlisted to go and interviewed. Maybe word of advice is application to be recruited in the Zambia Correctional Service. You don't have to pay anything. It's absolutely free. So if you find someone asking you to pay so that they can help you to get employment, I think report them to the nearest police station or just come to the correctional service. They can also contact the correctional service as well as the police.
We go to Southern Province, where police in Kazungula of Southern Province has charged and arrested Maslingi Mashikamo, aged 36, in connection with the murder of his wife after a marital dispute. Southern Province Police Commissioner Boni Kapeso says Mr. Mashikamo of Mambova village in Chief Sekutei's area killed his wife, aged 62, by by beating her using a paddling stick after a marital dispute. Mr. Kapeso says that the deceased has been identified as Sarah Samapande of the same address. The couple is said to have been married for 2 years with no children between them. The incident occurred around 01:30 hours in Kazungola early hours of today. Mr. Kapeso says that the suspect will appear in court soon. The ruling Patriotic Front, PF, has formally begun the processing of amending its constitution. Chairperson for Legal Affairs, Brian Mundubire, has disclosed that during a PF interactive media forum held in Lusaka today. Mr. Mundubile has also confirmed that part of the amendment will include provisions of to take over party leadership when the incumbent dies or can no longer perform his or her functions. He states that to this effect, a special committee chaired by party national chairperson Samuel Mukupa has been instituted to get submissions ahead of the actual amending of the party's constitution. Mr. Muntubile, who is also Northern Province Minister and Mporokoso Member of Parliament, says that the committee has been tasked to go around to engage the party membership. He says that the ruling PF is therefore expected to have an amended constitution by 2020.
You're correct. As a party, we have actually started the process of amending the party constitution. My committee, being the legal committee, was actually meeting just 2 days ago on this topic. But there's a special committee that was appointed and headed by the national chairman of the party, Mr. Samuel Mukupa. That committee will go around the country to engage the party membership and get submissions on the amendments to the party constitution.
And Mr. Muntubile has further disclosed that Northern Province will this year hold the first ever tourism and investment expo, which will run from the 20th to the 24th of November. Mr. Muntubile says that the expo will end at the eve of the centenary to mark the end of the Second World War, which will also be commemorated in Mbala, where the war has been recorded to have ended. He says a cabinet has since approved 15 million kwacha to host the event.
So the starting point would be when we celebrate 100 years this year, we want to drum up this support, we want to invite as many people as possible, especially for you colleagues in the media. This is the starting point to begin to drum up this event. We took advantage of this prestigious event as Northern Province to also host the Northern Province Tourism and Investment Expo alongside. So the Investment and Tourism Expo will run from the 20th of November to the 24th, just the eve of the centenary commemoration. We've taken advantage because of the many people that are going to come to the country, to the province during that time to host this Investment Expo. Now, the two are the very, very important events, like I said earlier. As you know, Northern Province, I already highlighted the potential in tourism that exists, the potential in agriculture that exists. We also have potential in mining. So the starting...
The opposition UPND youths in Lusaka province are unhappy by the continued allegations being leveled on the party leader, Hakainde Hichilema, that he is not interested in the peace pact with the ruling Patriotic Front. Provincial Youth Wing spokesperson Otis Walia says that youths of his party do not understand why such allegations can be made when the truth of the matter is to the contrary. Mr. Walia has told QTV News that youths of his party finds it unfair for any to accuse their party leader of something that is quite not true. He says that Mr. Hichilema is in support of the peace deal that UPND youths and those of the ruling PF recently agreed and signed. Mr. Wadia says that this explains why he has been sanctioning all meetings senior party members have been having with their PF counterparts at the UPND Secretariat. He says that the earlier concerns Mr. Hichilema had as a father on the PF-UPND peace deal were in fact addressed before it was signed by both political parties.
So these assertions that President HH is not in support, is against this peace deal, just mere rumors which are aimed at distorting or just conflicting what we are doing as youth, which is not fair. We are in this peace deal with Patriotic Front after realizing the importance of having peace in this country, of doing away with violence, especially during elections. So this is a cause that all of us should actually support, all stakeholders should support, including Sanitation himself, including you, the media. You should support this cause because violence has dented the image of this country, not only locally, but even internationally. It has dented the image of us as the young people. It has even derailed progress and development in this country. So this violence should be done away with. President HH particularly, he has been on record calling for peace. He has been on record calling for unity in this country. So
the Teaching Council of Zambia, TCZ, has issued an ultimatum to some private school owners to employ qualified teachers, failure to which their institutions are to face closure. TCZ Public Relations Officer Ngoza Malonga says that the council has already written a demand letter to the private schools as a matter of agency. Ms. Malonga says that no schools in Zambia will be allowed to employ unqualified teachers when the country has a large number of qualified teachers. She has urged private school employers to take advantage of this available human resource. Ms. Malonga states that non-compliance will not be condoned as the practice of employing unqualified teachers has the potential to compromise the quality of education in Zambia.
So far, we've inspected over 83 schools in Lusaka, and we found 305 persons. We can't call them teachers because they're not qualified. So it's 305 persons who have no papers at all, and we've given ultimatums to these persons and of course the school owners, because this issue affects school owners as well as the people who are masquerading. So proprietors out there should take note. They should not employ people who are not qualified. They should employ people who have the papers and who are willing and ready to provide the much needed education in this country. So far, we've inspected over 83 schools in Lusaka, and we found 305 persons. We can't call them teachers because they're not qualified. So it's 305 persons who have no papers at all, and we've given ultimatums to these persons and of course the school owners, because this issue affects school owners as well as the people who are masquerading. So proprietors out there should take note. They should not employ people who are not qualified. They should employ people who have the papers and who are willing and ready to provide the much needed education in this country. So far,
in health news, a local pediatrician has noted the need for mothers to seek clinic help whenever they suspect their baby of having a colic condition. Baby colic, also known as infantile colic, is defined as episodes of crying for more than 3 hours a day, for more than 3 days a week, for 3 weeks in an otherwise healthy child, and often crying occurs in the evening. And Dr. Kanta Chandwe has told Q News that 40% of infants suffer from colic, which also causes distress and anxiety among mothers. Dr. Chandwe is concerned that there is, however, little awareness of this condition. He has urged mothers suspecting their children to have a colic to take them for diagnosis to a health specialist.
When you look at the statistics, even up to 40% of infants will suffer from colic. So it's one of those conditions that causes a lot of distress and a lot of anxiety for mothers. Unfortunately, we have a lot of information that goes on in the community as to how to treat it. So there's a lot of over-the-counter medication buying. There's a lot of things that are administered at home by parents in terms of trying to relieve a child who's thought to have colic. So it continues to be challenging as a condition and how to treat it. If a parent suspects that the child has colic or is having abdominal pain, is excessively crying, and she thinks this might be colic, the first thing that has to be done is that child has to be assessed by a professional. So anyone if they go to the nearest clinic or the hospital, the healthcare provider will look at the child. They'll take some information, they'll do an examination, and they'll see whether there are other signs that are associated with this excessive crying. And if the clinician or the pediatrician finds that there is no other thing, for example, there's no fever, the child is not having diarrhea, the child is not having any ear infection or throat infection that might be causing discomfort and excessive crying, then they might comfortably make a diagnosis of colic. So that's the first step.
University Teaching Hospital UTH management has expressed dissatisfaction with the progress of the works in the ongoing modernization of the hospital, with over 80% of the works done so far. UTH Public Relations Officer Natalie Mashkolo says that the construction of a 2-story car park will soon be completed. Ms. Mashkolo has told Q News in an interview that the construction of G Block have also reached an advanced stage and works will soon be completed.
We have, you know, our car park has been under construction and it will soon be finished. And also, of course, we have what we are calling our surgical wards just behind what people call as G Block. And that surgical ward actually will also house a burns unit, because currently what we have is just the burns units are so small, but it will have a floor dedicated to a burns unit, it will have a pharmacy, it will have a theater, and it will also have a place where you can conduct x-rays. And so the modernization is ongoing, and we continue to expand because we know that the population of the country is also growing. And so even as a hospital, we need to actually have our infrastructure expanded, because you cannot rely on infrastructure that was created in the 70s. You must move with the times and with the trend. We have
the Examination Council of Zambia, ECZ Corporate Affairs Officer Ronald Amwelwa has revealed that they are earmarked to start conducting grade 7 examinations for the learners in South Africa from 5th November to 9th November 2018. This comes a year after the Examination Council of Zambia signed a memorandum of understanding with St. Jeff College Primary School of South Africa. And Mr. Mwelwa has disclosed that discussions for the ECZ to start conducting examinations in Namibia and Botswana are underway. He says for ECZ to start conducting examinations abroad, it means that the examination body is credible in the southern region.
All things being equal, the examinations are scheduled to start on 5th November. They'll end on 9th November 2018. And the indications are that we have some examining boards in Botswana and Namibia that have expressed interest for us to be assessing their learners there. So discussions are underway as I'm speaking. At an appropriate time, we should be able to communicate to members of the general public. I think for us, that is a major milestone. It's a major breakthrough. It shows that people out there are appreciating the qualifications that we confer as an institution. And this shows how we have evolved as an institution. And this shows how credible the assessments and certification systems are in Zambia. Because I should indicate that the owner of St. Jeff College Primary School is a Zambian, but based in South Africa. So they noticed that most of their learners had challenges as they progressed to grade 8 and grade 9. So this is the more reason why they are actually undergoing, undertaking the Zambian curriculum, and they are being assessed by Examinations Council of Zambia. We are on record to say most of the people that have passed through the examination system, they have survived anywhere in the world. The record is there, and we are happy that we are being recognized, and I think we are one of the best examining boards in the region, the sub-Saharan region, and this makes us a plus, and we'll continue to improve. We'll continue to make the nation proud, and we'll continue to ensure that whatever we do, it's of high standard, and that is appreciated globally.
On that note, we end the news. For these and many other stories, you can actually visit our website at qfmzambia.com. And of course, you can as well interact with us via our Facebook page, that is QTV Zambia Experience Home. But before we go, a recap of stories making headlines. The opposition ADD has warned that using a private equity to amortize Zambia's $750 million Eurobond may be a conduit for corruption. And President Edgar Lungu has been called upon to caution Zambians in diplomatic service to desist from commenting on the Barcelona agreement. Thank you so much.